Welcome back, and now tune into the other side. The other side of sports is your host, Laws in the building. It's me, it's Aaron. We in this jump rocking out. Aaron, big things. Adam Peters is in town now. It's official. He the new GM. Can we get hype?
Not until the draft, dog. That number two pick gonna tell it all.
Let's go and tell us all. When they had a press conference, he said that there's some pieces on the team. He thinks there's some cornerstone pieces on the team. He hasn't done all his evaluation, but you think there's talent on this roster. Do you agree with him?
I mean, it was. This was a roster that could have been around 500 and made the playoffs if it didn't have the worst coach in the game coaching it. And Ron Rivera, one of the worst D coordinators in the league, and Jack Del Rio all year. So, and also a terrible quarterback in Sam Howell.
Mhm.
So we saw what happened when Jacoby Brissett came in the game. And even if you don't think that he plays to that level the
Mhm.
entire season, you got to be talking about 500. I mean, you can do what the Tampa Bay Bucks did.
Mhm. Yeah, Tampa Bay, they miraculous season. Todd Bowles, is he in the running for coach of the year?
Hell no. It got to be Houston's coach. It
Okay.
got to be. It got to be. Was it
Uh
D'Amico Ryan's?
D'Amico Ryans.
Anything else is a travesty. I don't care what the storyline is.
Yeah, because nobody had them doing any of that this year, though. Any of that. Let's talk about it. Since we jumping right in. We got the Cleveland Browns at the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans mollywop these Bama's 45-14. Two pick sixes to the house. It was bad, dog. I mean, Houston, they just came out prepared to play. CJ Stroud was CJ Stroud, and people like to think, Aaron, can you tell the people picking the right quarterback is not that hard? Like, people think it's
It's
like
not that.
magic, dog. They think it's magic.
They make it magic because they want to justify all the times they pick the plants and don't want to have that conversation about them actually being plants.
Mhm.
Like if you remove the plants from the draft, it's really simple. It's really, really simple.
You gotta identify the plant, then you gotta remove it.
Right. And just because you got the number one pick doesn't mean you have to take a quarterback. Sometimes that number one guy is there. We happen to be in one of those years where you got
You
allegedly
got
a
some options.
generational guy at the top, but
Uh-huh.
there are other years where that's just not the case. And some
Agreed.
teams feel compelled to like that Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen draft where everybody's swapping down. This is the greatest quarterback draft of all time. And then most of those guys end up being either retreads or bust just outright. So
Mhm.
you just can't feel obligated because you're at the top of the draft or because Mel Kiper says Joe
Dog, you
Blow is
can't you
the
can't
next
listen
guy.
you can't listen to Mel Kiper,
He
dog.
has one job.
Dog, they put money in his pocket to just push the foolishness, dog. He gets paid for propaganda. Like, literally. Because when you go back and you look at any of his picks and anything he says, first of all, he just regurgitate what other people say, but he never stands on anything that, like, he say the most outlandish stuff. And when you fact check it, you be like, why is he still here? Somebody who's wrong as much as Mel Kiper is wrong. The fact that he's still there every year, he
It's
gonna
all
have
entertainment.
his little wig
'Cause
piece.
if he was half as good as he alleged to be, or people think he is, he'd have a job with a team.
There you go. There you go. No. So I mean, Houston, they put a hurting on the Cleveland Browns. I didn't anticipate that. I thought the Cleveland defense was a lot better than that, but they walked them Bama's. They walked through them. They walked through them. And to your point, I think D'Amico Ryans is the coach of the year. Clearly, he brought it. He did what we would do if we was the head coach. Get like if you got somebody in the draft you want, you just make the moves to get them. He got Will Anderson Jr. and he got CJ Stroud, though, and he made it happen. And he won with it. He got his guys and he won. So props to them. Then you had the Miami Dolphins at the Kansas City Chiefs. This game was in 0 below weather. Uh, I mean, a lot of us didn't really anticipate Miami being able to handle the cold weather, especially how it was brick out that jump, dog. It was brick.
Yeah, it
Uh,
was so cold. A segment of Mahomes' helmet just broke off and fell off.
dog, they was playing in the Game of Thrones winter jump with the White Walkers out there jump. It's so cool. Yeah. Miami just couldn't. I mean, Andy Reid looking like a walrus out there with the snot on his nose, but game plan was solid. Miami really just couldn't get anything going. Tua was off, and I mean, you could attribute that to the weather, but outside that one pass to deep to Tyreek Hill, it just couldn't really get anything going for real offensively. Um, and so, Kansas City won that outright. They look prepared for those conditions, and their experience and coaching just showed up in this one. Um, then we had the Green Bay Packers shock the world, Aaron, and mollywop the Dallas Cowboys, though. The
Beautiful
32 that the Cowboys put up, that Jonas fluke. I just want y'all to know that's garbage time points because
stat pack.
they really got mudhole. Really got mudhole. They were
It was
down 3
48 to
scores in
16 when it mattered.
yeah. Yeah. So did you see that coming? Do you have to
Not that
fire
way. No.
Mike McCarthy? Is he fired yet?
No, that's what shocks me. I just knew them getting their backside blown out the way that they did. I would wake up the next day to him being fired. But apparently Jerry Jones made him have a meeting with him like he was doing an interview to get a coaching job. So I don't know what's going on over there.
We know what Jerry said to him. Son, he called everybody his son. Son, are you the man for the job? Or do we have to find someone else? No,
Now,
I mean, go ahead.
there's a little bit of nuance to this because I think Jerry always is approaching this like each season it could be his last season.
Mhm.
And I think, he was obviously pissed after that game because everybody,
He turned his
to
back.
be 100% honest, whenever Dallas go to the playoffs, I'd be like, these Bama's about to get smoked. They're going to do something fluke. This was the first year where I was like, shit, these Bama's going to mess around and win the Super Bowl, and we got to hear
Mhm.
these annoying ass fans. Like,
Mhm.
they legit had a team that should be in contention to win a Super Bowl this year. But they got Betas at the quarterback position, Beta at the head coach position. And then Dan Quinn's defensive game plan was ass. So as long as Dak's the quarterback and McCarthy's the coach, I'm not really worried about these Bama's. I like chaos, so I wanted him to get fired, but at the same time, it's best that they keep everything intact and run it back. They also got to have a guy lined up because
Yeah.
this is Jerry's last go round. So
No, but you
can't
don't
fire
think
him and not get nobody.
coaches will want this job, bro.
Not necessarily because of Jerry. You not just coaches. You got
Mhm.
to have the guy in mind. Like, is it Belichick, Pete Carroll? Like, are you gonna roll the dice on a brand new guy like that never been a head coach before? That's a good offensive offensive coordinator. Are you rolling the dice on that as Jerry Jones, where you need to win next year? I bet they call Belichick like, "Hey, I know you interview for Atlanta joint.
Come on up here. Let's just
What's
talk
the
to you.
chances?" Because I feel like they need a yes from whoever they're eyeing before they pull the trigger on McCarthy.
Yeah, because you can't pull the trigger and then be stuck outside in the cold trying to figure out who's going to take over this team, and then you end up getting like, you know, a random.
Having to make Jim Zorn the head coach because you can't find the guy.
Can't do that though. But though McCarthy, we know he is who we say he is. He has limitations. Bama's getting a pass happy offense in the playoffs. It was just a bad game plan all the way around, dog. They didn't really change much with their offense. I guess they thought, oh, this has worked all year long, so we're just gonna stick with it. I mean, you do kind of got to stick with what works, but like they just were not prepared for what Joe Barry and that defense was going to throw at him, dog. And I mean, I didn't know. I don't got no faith in Joe Barry either. But from a
He
game
was
plan
elite that
standpoint,
week.
he was elite, dog. And maybe it's confidence going against somebody you just know you can beat. They put a hurting on them Bama's, dog. They had Dak looking like last year Dak before Alabama was he just was off, bro. And then he looked tentative after he threw the 2
He was
picks.
tight. Yeah.
He just was tentative after that. And then when the team is playing prevent defense, it just, of course, you're gonna get yards and be able to move the football and stuff like that. But I mean, they have to make some changes. And I mean, right now they got a lot of money on the hook with Dak Prescott. Like they can't even get off that hill. And then you got McCarthy. And like you said, if you don't have anybody to come, whoever's going to come in is going to basically have to inherit Dak. And if I'm the head coach, I don't want him. I don't want Dak. And people be like, well, you're a Redskins fan, so how you going to say what you don't want? But
we know what terrible quarterback can look like. And
Dak's not terrible. Kirk Cousins, dog.
That's it. Like mentally, he's handicapped. He had an MVP year and then get to the playoffs and do that. That's exactly what Kirk would do.
Exactly. So you can't, once a person's psyche is messed up, you cannot bring them back, dog. It's just like what they did with the dude with the Chargers. The Bama, they gave up the lead versus the Jaguars, and then they brought them back, Staley, and then they brought them back. That you cannot. This is what happens when you do that. When you try to overlook the writing on the wall, and you just, it'll be okay, and blah blah blah. Yeah. Insanity, what they say, doing the same thing, expecting a different result
every time.
Yeah, it's a done deal. So, I mean, Green Bay advances. They punished the Dallas Cowboys, though. I didn't see that happening, bro. Didn't see that happening at all in their home. So it wasn't even like they had home field advantage, though. These Babas had the stadium quiet.
They need front run advantage, though. You see, Green Bay when they won the toss, they asked to receive because they knew they was going to go up the field and score and put the pressure on Dallas. Versus if Dallas would have gotten the ball first and they scored, then I wouldn't be shocked to see it go completely the other way and they win 40-something to 16. But when you got betas at the top and with teams like that, you got to step on their neck because everybody else gonna get tight, and that's exactly what happened. The D line was getting mushed around the whole game.
Yeah. Nah, it definitely was an embarrassing look for the Dallas Cowboys. And they got to do something. But if they don't do anything, I mean, don't bother me. The Rams played the Detroit Lions. It went down to the wire. Matthew Stafford comes back to Detroit. The way they set these games up was just perfect, dog. Like Mike McCarthy playing his old team, Tyreek Hill coming to Kansas City,
full of
Cleveland and Deshaun versus the new regime in Houston after they let him go and all that. Yeah, it was perfect storyline writing, dog. LA, they battled Detroit. They battled them to the wire. Detroit just ended up squeaking out with the W with the 1-point lead. It was a good game to the finish. And I thought I expected it to be competitive. I expected LA's defense just garbage, dog. It's just not the same. And it showed in this game. And I knew that they would have trouble playing teams that had a high power offense just because their defense is just not good. And I don't think the scoreboard actually shows how bad the defense is because I think Detroit left some points on the field, but when it mattered, they got the first downs that helped them secure the game and win it. So Detroit advances. Then we had the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Buffalo Bills. Bills end up winning this game 31-17. Bills kind of let them hang around for a minute. They let Pittsburgh hang around. Mason Rudolph, looked at times like he was going to get in a rhythm and actually mount a comeback. And then, Pittsburgh just couldn't. Their secondary just gave up too much. The tackling was poor. They let what's the quarterback at Buffalo? Josh Allen looked like Barry Sanders out there, Joe, and just run through arm tackles. And I think he had almost 100 yards rushing on these dudes. So Yeah, Pittsburgh. I mean, they play tough. Who knows what the future is for Mike Tomlin? He walked off the podium when they asked about his future. Uh, can he come to Washington, Aaron?
I just saw on the ticket where it said he coming back next year to coach his final year. It's the final
Uh
year of his contract. Why couldn't that be next year, where Washington blow everything up and got Tomlin on the market?
oh, you talk about a leader of men. That's your guy. That's your guy.
Would you
Never had a
trade?
losing season. Yes.
You wouldn't trade that number 2 pick
Yes.
though to get Tomlin,
Oh no, 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 no. No, I wouldn't do that.
but you would trade that
That
other 2 from the Bears to get Tomlin,
yeah.
the second round pick
Yeah, I would. I would.
and Sam
Because
Howell.
because the thing is, with a Tomlin on your team, so I don't know how good he is picking quarterbacks either. But leading a football team, if the personnel is left up to the GM and the GM knows what he's doing, because you still, in my opinion, you could get Tomlin and you won't be trash, but you'll be just over 500, which I'm not trying to be. I'm trying to win Super Bowls. So I think you still got to get the number 2 pick right. Still got to get that pick right. But if you
Everything
get that pick
hinges on
right,
that.
everything else will be money if you got a Tomlin, dog. Because the whole culture of the team gonna shift, dog. The way the team plays, the way they prepare, the way they execute, all of that is just gonna go up another level. So I mean, yeah, if you had the opportunity to get him, you get him. I still make the call over there, even if he say he coming back. I'm like, hey man, what would it take to get you off them, dog? What we gotta do? What kind of deal we gotta work out? Um, but yeah, so Buffalo wins that 31-17. Then this was bad. Philadelphia Eagles lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 32-9. Aaron. It was bad. Whose fault is it? People want to blame Jalen Hurts. It's not Jalen Hurts' fault, dog. People, if you watched that game and you saw the offensive play calls, somebody got to be on the chopping block. How they not have a play to combat the rush? Tampa Bay just rushed all day long and they had nothing for it.
See,
They did
I
these
haven't
weak
watched
jump
Philly
screens.
hard enough to know if they going full Steve Spurrier, where the Bama don't have any hot routes or no audibles at the line of scrimmage. I don't really see him checking protections. I don't know if Kelsey does that or if they just go with the play that's called and just it's a lot that I don't really know. So it's kind of hard to say. But that wasn't the most glaring deficiency to me. This is the
Mhm,
lack of leadership.
mhm.
Defensively, there's no effort. Like Slade wasn't trying to tackle nobody. What's the other nigga, Dewberry or whatever his name is?
They,
He wasn't
they got
trying
the
to tackle
Feist book,
nobody.
Aaron. They got the
Bradbury.
Feist book.
The pass rushers don't hunt the way that they did last year and the years before. So it just looks like, I mean, it's one thing to go on a 2 game slide, a 3 game slide where things are up in the air. To start 10-1 and then lose 6 out of your next 7, that means the head coach has no clue what adjustments need to be made. There's no way you can lose 6 out of 7 games after starting 10-1 and keep your job. But again, they in the NFC East, so they probably gonna run it back, and you know that works out best for the Commanders.
Yeah, dog. It is. That game was it was a lot. Like the Eagles to me are a better football team. They have more talent than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they just look prepared, dog. How many times I gotta say this, Aaron? Half of your job as a coach is just number one, having your team prepared to play a football game. A football game is physical, a football game, you got to be ready to play. And they didn't look like they was ready to play. That's the
At all.
first thing. Secondly, the offensive game plan that they went into this game with was terrible. It was one of the worst offensive game plans I've seen maybe all year long. They ran the ball the first series. Then they didn't run the ball for 3 series after that. Then they try to sprinkle it in. It just was no continuity. It was no direction on how they were going to attack the team. They basically looked like You know what it looked like, Aaron? It looked like when we when we played with the young guns and we ain't had no game plan. We just be like, yeah, we. It looked like they underestimated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It just expected them to just get washed. It looked like they just saw the matchups and said, "Oh, we got a better receivers over here. Oh, we got these players. They're better. Okay, we just gonna match up one on one here. We just gonna do this." But it didn't look like they schemed or they figured out like, okay, they're gonna try to do this. We're gonna do this. If they do this, we're gonna do that. Even at halftime, I was like, okay, they gotta make adjustments for the rush. These Batman just keep rushing them. Heavy man rush. Go to max protect. Why they ain't go to max protect, Aaron?
They might not have it in the package. It looked like they didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah, you're right. They didn't have it in the package, though. Like one of the things you got to do if your quarterback needs time to be able to make the throw. No, I never seen Jalen Hurts throw that many passes off his back foot the whole season. He threw more passes off his back foot last night, the other day, than I seen him his whole career, dog. Because the pressure was in his face, and he was like, "Oh, I got these. I just got to get rid of the ball." And he was just throwing the ball up. Yeah, it was terrible. It was a terrible display of play calling and coaching. And does Sirianni need to be fired?
Hell
You,
yeah. He lost. First of all, he whiffed on both coordinator hires this year.
mm-hmm.
He's not, to me, he doesn't strike me as this X's and O's genius. So you got to get everything else right. You got to get the hiring part right, the identifying talent, the leadership part right, and that's the parts that the team is failing in, especially down the stretch. So I don't see how you run it back because once you lose the locker room, I just don't see how you get that back. The AJ Brown trade, you kind of see a little bit why the Titans might have made that trade because he seems to be like a malcontent. His Bama go for 150, like 10 straight games, and he's still complaining about Jalen Hurts and complaining to the coach. Like it's just
Mm,
he doesn't have enough leadership. He's not a big enough personality to kind of like keep all of those things under wraps. And
mm.
if he not running the team and it's all of the alpha dudes on the squad making the decisions, then you got
The
to find
inmates
somebody
run
else.
when the inmates running the asylum, dog. Yeah, I don't know, dog. It's all in question now. After watch, dog, you can't lose that many games in a row, bro. That just you don't have the answers.
You don't.
So yeah, that's dead. Uh, dog, what's up with NBA, bro? I can't watch basketball no more.
Well,
Dog, it just don't. It don't. It's not exciting.
not even when they on the parlay.
When they on the parlay, I peek in, but I don't. I don't. The thing is, I can't control that either. It's so much fluke stuff be happening. It's better if I just turn the TV off, just go about my business. Dog, I don't know. Like it just don't. It just feel real gimmicky, dog. Like it just, I don't know, bro. I can't put my finger on it, but it don't have the like it don't have. Maybe it's because the Wizards some trash, dog, and I'm not even paying attention to what they doing this year.
There's a deficiency in superstars for sure. Steph isn't Steph. LeBron's not LeBron. You know, all like our entire childhood up until probably the last couple years where LeBron has physically has taken, a decline. There's
Mhm.
always been at least one superstar Batman in the league. And people try to make Giannis his star. You can try to act like Jokic is this star. They just not though. They're not like these magnetic like stars that you just have to watch. Like and then you got the NFL playing on MLK Day that used to be the NBA's day. It's like nobody's choosing the NBA over the NFL. And you need star power when it comes to the NBA. Like you need
Yeah.
that. But they whiffed on Zion, whiffed on Ja. They need somebody to step up and be the face of the league. Cooper
Mm.
Flag, 2020, what, 6 or 27? The only hope.
The only hope. Ah, dog. Yeah, I don't know, bro. I just haven't been watching basketball. I don't really care. Maybe when football season is over and I don't have anything else to do, then I'll watch it. But
It's no good till playoff time anyway. The in season tournament was good. It did work in a
mm,
way that when these blowouts happen, they not necessarily sitting their stars because point differential matters, so it's not blowing up the parlays. So it
Mhm.
was something different to watch, even though the courts was ugly for them joints.
Yeah, them
But
Jones was.
the rest of the regular season basketball is trash, and the Wizards is trash. So
Yeah, it was trash, bro. What about main man who got caught hemmed up stealing from Target, dog? Body wash and soap and
that gotta be a fetish. If you making $2 million a year and you stealing novelty items from Target, that's a fetish. That man was just turned on by being a klepto. Gotta be.
yeah, he got a problem, dog. He need serious help. Yeah, because nothing else makes sense in that scenario, bro. You
Yeah,
stealing from Target, dog? Foot and hand soap, foot wash. What is you doing, bro? What is you doing?
out of control.
ah, okay, dog. This weekend, we about to make somebody 10K. How that sound, Aaron? We're gonna make one of our listeners 10K this weekend. Houston Texans at the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens are favored minus 9.5 on FanDuel
Hell
this
no.
week.
Give me
Over
Houston.
44.5 is the total.
Give me Houston
Houston
to
to
cover.
cover
That's
the
the bet.
9.5.
Ravens gonna win the Super Bowl, pause, but I got Houston to cover.
Okay. Okay. It's in Baltimore.
Yeah, it's gonna be 25 degrees outside too.
Yeah, I got Houston, dog. CJ not gonna be. Trust me. Up until this point, CJ looked immaculate, dog. I think that the Baltimore Ravens defense going to show him something he not ready for, and I think he'll have a little more trouble in this one than he did with the Cleveland Browns. Um, so I'm going with Baltimore, and I'm going with them to 9.5 is that's a large number. I'm a I'm a we're gonna see a blowout. I'm gonna go with the 9.5, dog. I think that Vegas will get their hand in this one because of how Houston smashed the other team and then coming to Baltimore. I think that they'll get a taste of their own medicine or deja vu or what goes around comes around. So I'm gonna go with the Baltimore Ravens minus the 9.5. Green Bay Packers at the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers are favored at home 9.5.
Give me Green Bay.
Green Bay. Aaron is going with both the underdogs this week, plus the points. Ah, San Francisco is really manhandled teams for the most part. I think that Green Bay, again, Joe Barry, I don't think he's going to be able to beat a Kyle Shanahan coach roster. Um, I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers minus the 9.5. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Detroit Lions. Lions are favored at home minus 6.5. Who you got, Aaron, in this one?
I can't.
Tampa Bay at
Give,
Detroit.
give me the give me Detroit.
I am going with the underdog in this one, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers plus the points. I think Tampa Bay is one of them teams with the confidence going up. And after beating the Eagles so handily, I think the confidence is going to help them in the game versus the Detroit Lions. And it's in the dome. So it's not like they got to really contest with the elements as much. So I'm going with Tampa Bay to cover. Mike Evans didn't have a really good game, and I think he has a good game in this one because that's how he is, though. The Bama will put up a dud, and then the next game, the Bama had 3 touchdowns. You'd be like, where was that last week?
They're gonna need him
So
this week.
they definitely gonna
Not
need
playing
him.
the Eagles. Yeah.
That's a fact. Kansas City Chiefs at the Buffalo Bills. Bills are favored minus 2.5. Who you got in this one, Aaron?
The Chiefs.
Oh, the Buffalo. This is their Achilles heel right here. This game versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Uh, and
I dare you
I
to
am
go against them.
So this is the thing. So the reason I'm like leaning towards Buffalo is not because I think Buffalo is a better team what they're doing. I feel like the league owes them something for the DeMar Hamlin jump last year. Like that DeMar Hamlin situation, I feel like the league is trying to like make up for it in a sense. And Josh Allen is not a bad player to let advance if you're not gonna let Patrick Mahomes and them get to the Super Bowl. So I'm gonna go with Buffalo minus the 2.5, though. I know that sounds crazy, but it's also in Buffalo. So I think that helps me make the decision for Buffalo in this one. But I
He's
think it'll be a close game either way.
Yeah, he's a jealous quarterback. Like Mahomes gonna come out there, he gonna be trying to out Mahomes, and that's gonna
Mhm.
lead to 2 to 3 turnovers.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I could definitely see that scenario. You called that one before, so definitely could see that scenario. Those are our games for this week. Um, yeah, and that's it. I got a question though. If you want the question, we can do the question on the tail end. You want that?
Go ahead.
It says, all right, here's some context. Says, I'm a female. I recently moved in with my fiance across the country to help take care of his family.
What?
We've been together for 2 years. We've had been in a long distance relationship up until I moved in, but I have visited him a few times. In the process of moving, I also found out I was pregnant. A week after I found out about our baby, I found out that he had been cheating on me the entire time. I
Sheesh.
had a feeling for a while that this was something that was happening, but he would always reassure me and tell me I could check his accounts, messages, etc. I never did because I wanted to trust him as I'm trying to heal from past relationships. That changed when I woke up in the middle of the night and had a feeling to look through his phone. I know that's horrible, and I genuinely don't know why I did it. You know why. I found so many messages with other girls on his Snap, Discord, and messages. Dog, the Bama on Discord,
What is that?
dog, Discord is like it's like a fake Twitter, dog.
Uh,
It's like an underground Twitter. But hey, for the parlays though, Discord got a bunch. Remember the jumps I be putting in the chat, be sending to Jason. I'll be getting them from Discord
uh,
because Bama's be doing like it's heavy nerds on
but
that
it's
jump.
youngins on there.
I ain't even know. I guess so.
I said I didn't know.
I I'm a day, bro. My windows and lanes be real small, though. I'm trying to get the bread, trying to get the bread, trying to get the bread. Anything else, though, I'm like, I ain't got time for it. It's enough distractions out here. But yeah, apparently this bad messaging gangs on Discord. I that's a first for me. Apparently, uh apparently the times he's been sleeping or just not answering me was when he been playing games with them and being on calls with them. I confronted him with everything a few days ago, which sent him into a frenzy of crying and apologizing, but never owning up to what he did. He wouldn't tell me the full truth when that's all I asked for him. He just keeps telling me that he wants us to work. He wants to be a family. He wants to fix it, etc. When I told him I just needed time to process and figure out what I wanted, he started crying more and asking me to hold him. It feels
What?
like my whole world is shattered and I don't know how to forgive him or leave him. Every day he just begs me to forgive him. When I ask him one more time for the full truth, he started hurting himself and acting like I should just let it go. My soul feels crushed. I don't really have any family or any friends to turn to. I put everything I had into this relationship and I genuinely thought someone loved me for once. Being pregnant on top of
He probably
everything is
loved
making it harder.
you. He
Yeah,
just spoke.
he swears he wants to be a dad so bad and that he wants to treat me better. But if he wanted that, he would have done that the whole time, right? I don't I don't have anyone here to stay with, and all my money was used to move. So I'm not sure if leaving is an option at the moment. But have to but how do I stay with someone when I feel like they've never loved me? What should I do? Oh my
Sound like she don't have a choice.
goodness. Dog, don't
Talk
say
to your
that.
grandmother. That's what the
And
grandmothers, the
dog,
great
stop,
grandmothers was doing.
dog. She ain't got
Grand
no family, dog.
great grandpa was outside, but your grandmother didn't have a degree, so she was in there taking care of the kids. Go talk to one of the elderly in the family. That's probably the best thing we could. She spent all her bread moving across the country. What else can we tell her, dog? That's the first mistake. If this dude supposed to be your fiance and you pregnant with his kid, he ain't paying for you to come move in with him. That should have been a
Yeah.
red flag. But what can we
She
say?
making bad decisions all across the board, dog.
Go take the me, talk to me, ma, Gammy, whatever you call her. Go ask her how she did it.
Nigga, he said me, mom. Dog, yeah, she just made bad. Yeah, I'm sorry. You made bad decisions all across the board, and this is just the consequences of those actions. First of all, you're dating somebody across the country you only seen a handful of times,
Oh, I ain't hear that
and
part.
and now you engaged to this person, and they're your fiance. Like that. That's just not a. That's not
Desperation.
a.
She might be a
Yeah.
4 or 5. So we probably should have. See, this is what we gotta do.
Uh-huh.
When we had these relationship questions
Mhm.
about what should I do, and to get a
You
real
gotta
truthful
send in a
answer.
photo.
If you a woman, you gotta send in a photo. If you a guy, you gotta
You
send a
gotta send in your
W-2.
pay stub.
That's the only real true
No,
way for us to know
I
something.
be telling these young, I'm like, listen, the way that y'all feel about your body is the way men feel about their pockets. So you don't want to give your body away, then he shouldn't be required to spend a whole bunch of money on you. Because that's how men, that's the equivalent of how that's managed. So once you give something for nothing, you can't then be looking like we need to like you gave the man a child and y'all doing cross country extravaganzas, dog. Like it's a bad decision.
But what should she do now? The decisions it's made. She made all the terrible decisions. Now she's stranded in
Stop
Seattle.
compounding bad decisions with more bad decisions. A bad decisions now is just trying to like,
How far along is she? Keep the baby?
oh, yeah, nah, dog, don't do that.
I'm
Don't do
asking Harold.
don't-
uh, This 2024.
she gotta keep the baby, dog. I'm pro-life, dog. I just you need to stay, you need to just relax, calm down, don't get so mad. You gotta flip your thought process. Do not get married.
So
Just
you want
say
her to raise a bastard child?
no. I didn't say that. I said don't get married. I said stay where you are. You moved over there now. You gotta stay.
So the
Can't
kid
just
not a bastard if they don't get married. So
I mean, she dog. She already on the trajectory to single motherhood, dog. She already made bad decisions that casting her in the single motherhood space, dog.
but
She
being a
she
single
hanging
mother
on
means
by a
not getting
thread.
married is definitely going to make her a single mother.
It's a
This
fact,
the
dog.
thing.
But
This the layer. Like this the thing we should address. She said like he never loved you. Just because he smashed some youngers did not mean the Bama don't love you. That has
okay.
nothing to do with nothing when it comes to a man. Maybe I don't know what the reason is that you spent your own bread instead of him paying for you to come move in with him. But maybe the Bama's gonna be a good husband. I don't mean as far as what he does with other youngins, but as a provider, a protector,
Mhm,
and just the way that he treats you outside of knocking other youngins down. Now that you got to ask yourself is that something you can live with?
mhm,
Uh, or the other alternative is being a single mom.
mhm.
So
Which is not easier.
it ain't hard. I mean, it's just because I feel like society makes women feel like they have to choose B, but sometimes,
I'm saying
almost
she
all the
needs to,
time.
I'm saying she needs to choose A, stay there,
Oh
because
yeah,
she did dog. She got her luggage and
it's
she
about the
got
child now. It's not
yeah,
about
dog. Like you stay there and you try to work things through. You try to figure out, first of all, like how pervasive it is. Like
you. You
it
said the Bama was on a platform I never even heard of, so it got to be
yeah.
pervasive. I never even
It's
heard of
John
this
is sick.
platform.
He's sick,
And you got
He's
youngins
sick.
over there.
He's sick. He's sick. He's sick because
They in the vortex,
that
bro.
John
It's over with.
ain't even built for
It ain't
joint
no
ain't even
pictures
go.
and nothing on that joint. And
That
you out
joint
there
ain't even,
playing
that ain't
dragon.
even that type of situation, though. That joke, yeah, he's sick though. He's sick. But I mean, what's her alternative? She ain't got no family, but she gonna be sleeping outdoors. I don't. Yeah, bro.
You
It
better
joke
forget
just.
that, man. That's your best bet. Find it in your
Yeah.
heart. You better forget that, man.
How
That's
you
your
say find it in your?
because she don't have a choice at this point, dog. I'm not gonna give her the advice that society wants you to give her. Like, oh, leave him. You don't need him. Then you and the kid be living under the bridge. Dog,
Yeah, you gotta
mitigate
stay.
your bad decision
She don't
until
got.
you figure something else out.
So I listen. I still stand by. You don't need to go through with the marriage. Like if he's trying to get married, you need to halt that. Like if you're engaged, you don't have to break off the engagement, but you need to like at least show that there is some consequences for your action. Like you're just not gonna be cool with it willy nilly if you don't appreciate him just being lying and cheat. I mean, only way a relationship is going to work is if you have some level of honesty and clarity. Now, I don't necessarily subscribe to the idea that he got to divulge everything that he did because some youngins just be on rehearsal mode and like once he tell you everything, you just gonna be rehearsing that. And y'all be at dinner like you're looking at that girl at the blah blah. It's like yeah, come on, like that's OC. You know that the Bama cheated. You know the Bama lied. Like okay, we know that. Now let's just be clear here on out. Like you know, we're just gonna put a pause on this whole situation. Um, but you know, as we try to work through it, because you're not trying to be sleeping on the street with your child. That's
Yeah,
not.
it's cold. It's snowy outside. It's 21 degrees on the.
Yeah, that's not an option, dog. That's not an option, especially if you ain't got no bread, which means she's probably not working, which means yeah, it's just a lot of bad, though. You gotta play nice. I'm sorry, you just gotta play nice until
For now,
you can at
anyway.
least, yeah, at least for now. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can set it up to say, you know, we just want to postpone this engagement for a little bit and you know, we'll work through things, right? And then just kind of stack your bread where you can stack it um and figure out what your situation is going to be, though. But this is the thing. Anytime if you about to leave a job, what you do, Aaron, before you leave the job, you don't
Have
just
another
quit.
one lined up.
There you go. There you go, dog. There you go. Yeah, so that's how you got to play it. So yeah, that's unfortunate though. I'm sorry to hear that though. Follow us at OSS 980 at Other Side of Sports. Um, Shout out to Where's Buffy podcast. Shout out to Kicking It with G Man. Shout out to Lance J Radio. Shout out to Sports Talk Tasha. Everybody who rock with us heavy. And we out.